In this video, I'm going to tell you how getting a houseplant, not this one, could maybe possibly, I don't know, kind of help you stay sober. If you're thinking, wow, these videos are getting more and more ridiculous, you're right. Anyway, I have no right to even be addressing this topic or to be giving this as a tip because, truth be told, I have killed all of my houseplants. I have maintained my sobriety, so that's good, but as far as houseplants go, I am not the best plant dad. And I'm going to get into all of the gory details about my relationship with houseplants and my propensity to kill them. Followed by that, I will talk about some evidence, some science perhaps, behind why maybe having houseplants can be good for our mental health or our sobriety. Has it helped other people in sobriety? I will tell you guys what I found on that front. Finally, I will offer you a very easy, actionable tip at the end of the video so that if you would like to add this to your toolbox based on the information I give you, you can do so. So make sure to stay tuned until the very end, or else. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Allie K. Campbell. The videos here are dedicated to getting real, having fun, and living sober. Every week, I upload a new sobriety tip as a part of my Sobriety Toolbox series, which is what you're watching now. If you would like to get a new sobriety tip every week to add to your sober toolbox, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Plus, you'll get access to a bunch of other random sober content that I will be creating and have already created. You can go check out all of the backlog of videos too while you're at it. Before I get into the nitty-gritty of Planned Parenthood and how that might relate to sobriety, I want to thank all of my patrons because without them, none of these videos would be possible, and they are, quite frankly, the best. So thank you, Anna, Kristen, Naomi, Beth, Chris, Lauren, Pam, Rachel, Samantha, Tess, and Tom. You guys are the bee's knees. That's the saying, right? Okay, so here's my little history with houseplants, right? I just started really getting them this past year. My friend Abel, y'all might know him, started getting really into it, and then I was dating somebody who was really into houseplants. They're both earth signs, so I was just like, let me give it a shot. And then I basically killed all of them. The plants, not the people. I tried a variety of different plants. I think I began with succulents because they look so like dry and like, I don't know, I guess it's like the word succulent. It just sounds very like, actually I would think that they need a lot of water because like suck. For whatever reason, I had this notion in my head that succulents required like literally no care whatsoever, like no water, no air, no anything. And apparently they require some amount of care, a care that I was not giving them. And then it was kind of downhill from there. You'd think that like, since I started with a more complicated group of plants that it would have gotten better as I got easier plants, but no, that's not the case. This is one of my succulents, and if you can see it, it is so the leaves are just, oh god, much bigger when I got it. Cat hair attached to it. It's not good. It's not good. Not doing anything for my case about like having you guys see me as an authority. This is my other succulent. Oh my god. It's not supposed to be flopping over like this. It was supposed to be like standing up. Anyway, I got like a spider plant eventually, a couple of air plants. They all died, or more specifically, I killed them all. I think a lot of the problem was overwatering or underwatering or a lack of light or all three. Who knows? These are fickle creatures, my friends. But guess what? Just today, I got a new one. And right there, even though I'm no expert on houseplants, I'm not an expert on sobriety either. Nobody is an expert on sobriety. So like that's a lesson, that the fact that I continuously fail by killing these other plants, yet here I am still getting a new one today. See, this is a new guy. I don't know if it's a guy yet. I think it's a, what's it called? A philodendron. What? Philodendron. The lesson here is just because you fall doesn't mean you can't get back up. And just because something doesn't work, aka the overwatering, aka not even trying to figure out how to take care of the plants the best way, aka putting it in a spot that it gets no light whatsoever, when that particular plant needs some indirect light, you switch it up. You have to do for sobriety too. If it doesn't work for you, it's as simple, I'm gonna say simple, not easy, as starting over. And there's no shame in that. I think I'll name her Clyde. Why do I keep buying these plants? Do I have just like a murderous streak in me? No, that has nothing to do with it. I really like them and I think they're pretty and I do want to keep them alive. I'm going to keep trying. There are, and on top of that, there are some perceived benefits. I'm like sweating. Okay, that's better. There are actually some, according to the research that I found, are some benefits to having houseplants for our mental health. And for the most part, anything that is good for our mental health, you can assume is also good for our sobriety. The first thing that I found was a very extensive review of a body of scientific literature supporting the benefits of exposure to green areas, green spaces. So this isn't only houseplants, but houseplants are included. This can also be a park, this can be your garden, this can be around the corner where there's like a couple of trees planted in between the cement, you know, if you live in Jersey City, like me. These researchers at Texas University, they published their findings in the Journal of Environmental Horticulture, the fancy term for plant play. Living near or in green spaces had the potential to improve mood, reduce the negative consequences of stress, encourage physical activity, and enhance overall well-being. That's actually only a few of them. There are even more benefits than that, but I didn't feel like listing all of them. I always link all my resources, so they're totally accessible to you guys, unless they're behind a paywall, in which case I have a way to get through that. All of these benefits aside, maybe the mood enhancing aspect of it, because I don't think that people drink and use only over negative moods. I think that a lot of people actually get high and drunk as a result of positive moods. I mean, I know that was the case for me. So aside from that one, which is a little tricky, most of these benefits I would say are definitely beneficial for maintaining sobriety as well. Next, I looked at an article with a very long title, unnecessarily long title, in the Journal of Physiological Anthropology. And this was in 2015, where researchers found that interactions with indoor plants, see, this one is a little bit more specific than the first one, can reduce physiological and psychological stress. That is a double whammy. It's also worth stating that this is compared with mental work. And I did not look into what they meant by mental work, but any kind of mental work seems like it would be more stressful than just around with plants. These interactions that these people, their subjects, had with houseplants actually suppressed the sympathetic nervous system and the diastolic blood pressure while promoting comfortable and soothing feelings, which is like, who doesn't want to feel comfortable and soothed? I know I do. I love feeling those two things, although I don't feel them very often, but maybe I will now because I have new plants. Who knows? Finally, I would hardly call this science, this next piece of media, I guess we'll call it, but it is a really cute article and a very entertaining article that I enjoyed reading. I found on medium.com by author Kelly Tompkins, who talks specifically about how her plant care taught her several lessons about sobriety. And I really love the way that she put this all together. Numbers each lesson, which I'm going to share with you guys. I think you should go read the whole article, but just to give you the general gist, one, her lesson is that slow and steady wins the race. Yes for plants, yes for sobriety. Two, not everyone asks for help in the same way. Different strokes for different folks and different plants. Number three is all things have the possibility to grow and change. Love that. I mean, this is poetic. This is beautiful. I love this. At the very least, this is a piece of anecdotal evidence from this person who has now long-term sobriety and has experimented with plant care throughout that time. Safe to say that we can also learn lessons about our sobriety through our care of anything in our world, right? It takes a little bit more effort when it's a living, living, breathing thing. I don't think that plants breathe though. Mine don't. Not after a couple of weeks at least. Science is science, and that's great, and that's motivational to me, but really what motivates me more is like these lessons that this person wrote based on their own experience, because like I can relate to that. It makes me more motivated to actually give my plants the care that they deserve and treat them with the same respect I treat my sobriety. And with that, I would like to present you guys with the number one tip that I would think would have been really great for me in the beginning, and hopefully is good for you guys if you are just getting started on this plant path or the sobriety path or both. This is get a plant that is difficult to kill. I'm not saying that you're not going to kill it still, but at least you have a better chance at success, right? List a couple of the ones that are the least likely to kill, or aka the most beginner friendly, and I'll actually link a couple of them in the description of this video. Believe it or not, Amazon actually sells plants now. Who knew? Who knew? I'd prefer that you go to your local garden center or your plant nursery, but if you are incapable of waiting and also want to give me a little kickback from my Amazon links, that's cool too. Number one is a monstera. This is what it looks like. This is what the Amazon one looks like, at least. It's cool with any type of light as far as I'm concerned, and it has a spooky name. Two is a ZZ plant. A ZZ plant, also a fun name. This is the one that I'm linking on Amazon. You can see that here. There's one of these in my apartment as well, and it's really cool looking. And apparently it hardly needs any water, so sounds easy. Number three is a spider plant. I want to say watch out for these guys because they are tricky. Mine died for 3 weeks straight. They like bright indirect sunlight, evidently, and I was giving it dim indirect sunlight, so I guess that was the problem. And then 4 is, this is what I got, a philodendron, right? Yeah. Number 4 is a philodendron, which is the one that I just got. So if you get one today or now or very soon, we can kind of like raise them together. That would be weird, huh? This barely needs any light, which is great because as I said in my last video, I always end up in rooms that are just shrouded in darkness. It's weird. And 5 is a pothos. Pothos. Easy, and apparently helps purify the air, which is a bonus, I guess. One more thing, definitely make sure to check about whether or not each of these plants is toxic to animals before you purchase them. Run into several issues with my cats eating toxic plants, and vet knows us very well because of this. So, I mean, I'm not saying you can't get the toxic plants, but if you're gonna do that, at least plan so that they're gonna be out of your pet's reach. Thank you so much for watching. It has been real, it has been fun, and it has been real fun. I will see you guys next week. This is going to be like one of the last of these videos that I'm going to be making. I am going to start a new video series focused actually completely on finding hobbies in sobriety and nurturing hobbies in sobriety starting in January. I'm going to do 9 more weeks of this weekly video of the sobriety toolbox series, and then I'm going to start with the hobbies to go alongside a workbook that I'm actually working on that you guys can purchase or even get discounted if you are a certain tier on my Patreon. But all the links are in the description for that stuff, and it's still very much in its beginning phases, so that's really all the information there is. But for everything else, the Amazon links to the plants, the study links for the different research papers, and any of my other social media if you want to reach out to me, and my Patreon if you want to support the channel, all of that is in the description of the video. Hopefully you guys have subscribed. If not, here's your chance. I will see you next time.